गोयची माती हो कन्सेप्ट गोवा फाउंडेशन फाटली 2-3 वर्सां सतत मांडीत आसा आणि आज ताणें एका पुस्तक रुपान त्या संदर्भातलो एक दस्तावेज, एक घटमूट असो दस्तावेज आमच्या मुखार दवरला. इतलेंच न्हय ते ताजे खातीर काम करपा खातीर एक आमकां सगळ्यांक उर्बा दिल्ली आसा की हो गोंयचो फ्युचर, ह्या फ्युचरा खातीर आमी सगळ्यांनी काम करपाक जाय, ताजे खातीर लढपाक जाय आनी जाय जाल्यार वेगळी वेगळी कितें प्लॅटफॉर्म्स आसात तांचे मेरेन वचपाक जाय. ही कार्यावळ सुरू जावचे पयलीं हांव हांगाचे पळय कांय तज्ञ, कांय एक्टिविस्ट आयिल्ले तांची हांव मुलाखत घेतालो. गोंयची माती म्हळ्यार कितें, तर तांकां हांव तुमकां सांगता, एकाय एक्टिविस्टाक किंवा एकाय तज्ञाक गोंयची माती म्हळ्यार कितें हाची जाप दिवपाक आयली ना. कांय जाण म्हणटाले ना आमचे मायनींग एरिया, आमच्या एरियान हो पयसो खर्च करचो, ज्यो पळय कितें खंदक तयार जाल्यात ते बुडोवचे, ते झाडां रोवची, बस घालची, रस्ते करचे. गोवा फाउंडेशन गोवा माती, गोंयची माती म्हणून जो पळय कन्सेप्ट घेवन आयला, तो कन्सेप्ट कितें आसा, तो आसा की आतां फकत हो जो पळय मायनींग महसूल मेळटा तो फकत 10% परमनंट फंडान घालतात. तो 90% किंवा 100% परमनंट फंडान घाले जाल्यार कितें मेळूं शकता, 5 वर्सां नंतर प्रत्येक नागरिकाक, प्रत्येक घरकुलाक न्ही, प्रत्येक घराक न्ही, प्रत्येक नागरिकाक 9,000 रुपये वर्साक मेळूं शकता. दिस इज समथींग बीग. हे फक्त गोंयान, देशान जावंक शकता. ताका लागून एक आपुलकीची भावना वाडटली. ह्यो मायनी आमच्यो, मायनी आनी कोणाची न्ही. एकटे बार आमी सद्याच्यान बरें म्हणलें मायन ओनर म्हणटाले, आतां आमी सारके हेतू पुरस्सर बारीक नजरे आमी म्हणटात लीज होल्डर, फॉर्मर लीज होल्डर. लीज होल्डर म्हळ्यार कितें, तूं घराचे भाड्यान रावपी मनीस, त्या भाड्याचें घर तूं विकूंक शकना. कांय मायन ओनरान आपली घरां विकून सुद्दां उडयली, अशे तरेन मायनी पूर्ण लीज विकून उडयल्यो. कांय वर्सां तर आमचे कडेन एक पयसो येनाशिल्लो, सगळो पयसो मायनींग कंपन्यो खाताल्यो. ताका लागून गोंय अक्षरशः भिकेक पावलो. आनी आमी म्हणटात पळय, ह्या बजेटान 5,000 कोटी रुपयाची गरज आसा आनी ते 5,000 रुपया खंयच्यान मेळटले ह्या नजरेन सबंद लोक आतां मायनिंगांतल्यान जो पळय पयसो येतलो ताजे कडेन सरकार दोळ दवरून आसा. म्हाका दिसता ह्या विशयाचेर आमकां कशे तरेन आमी कंट्रिब्यूट करूं शकतात. तर तातूंत भितर एक इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट आसा, एक सायंटिस्ट आसा, एक लेखक एक्टिविस्ट आसा, एक लेखक आसा जो ह्या एरियेन रावता, आनी एक ह्या विशयाचो अर्थकारणाच्या नजरेन, राजकारणाच्या नजरेन जाणी बारीक अभ्यास केला. लक्षात घेयात, मायनींग गोंयान चलताल्यो, पण मायनिंगा संदर्भात लोकांच्या नदरेन जे पळय कितें अर्थकारण आसा ताचो अभ्यास फक्त राहुल बसवाड केलो. ताका लागून तो खरो गोंयकार. तुका आमी सर्टिफिकेट दितात.
I was in the regional plan committee with the, and there the backbone of Goa's industry, the mining backbone they called, contributed 300 crores, including all the truck drivers' taxes, against a profit of 5,000 crores. So when you look at 300 crores, which actually the royalty must have been much less, against 5,000 crores now, it's a huge change. That means that money has been going off somewhere. Having said that, I'm glad that this is just an introduction and it's meant to make people think. And I didn't want to start because I don't really subscribe to this dividend concept. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have industry on industrial land which is taken from people, and so then they will say we should also get dividend. I think that you have an example of that as Magarpatta city in Pune, where it's taken from the muggers and they keep getting dividend. So that can work, but there has to be something, because while zone cars and we are familiar with it, I don't think you can have many people coming in to become a Gaukar. It's you're a Gaukar or you're not a Gaukar, and that they get the zone based on that aspect. Now, as a voter, we know today in Goa everybody is moving to Goa, and they just move their Aadhaar card or they move their voting card. Some of them have voting card in both the places. So, this dividend of 9,000 is calculated on a certain fixed number, which if you say you're going to get dividend in Goa, the rest of India is going to be in Goa. So, I don't see how it's going to work. But I am saying that there is a thought has to come out. I consider myself clued in, but I didn't realize that 5,000 crores is going to come in a year into the budget, and what are they going to do, with this money? You have many ways to skin a cat. So things have to be thought about. People have to start thinking that yes, this is going to come in. What has to be done with it? Now this permanent fund, yes, there is money going in. You can have more money going into it, and then use the interest to maybe put it something like that. But we need private, whether we like it or not. We use iron ore, so we have to take it out. How to take it out in the best possible manner? It's There are ways to do it. It costs money, but it's feasible. If they could pay 5,000 crores extra and not pay for so many years, that means there was money in that activity. They were whatever it is. So it is feasible to do, and we need to think of what way we can do about it and how it's best utilized for the the state of Goa.
We have mining, we are destroying so many trees, and each and every tree has a specific ecosystem and a habitat for different animals, and they are interdependent on the tree as well as the sap of the tree or the air of the tree around it. And we are destroying so much of the environment. I think it's our responsibility to keep all this environment and all the environment around us, and we should always think that we are trustees of the environment and keep it for our future children. We have not inherited our planet or our land from our forefathers or our ancestors, but we are responsible for giving it to our children. We have borrowed it from our children at present, and I think it's our responsibility to give the planet or the earth or everything around us to our children in a very good form and not in a polluted form and in a destructive form. And one of the things which I'm always concerned about is all the other countries which have mining in their region. They have a lot of leases, but when the lease gets over, they're supposed to hand over the land to the government and repaired in a repaired condition. That means after reforestation.
गोयची माती तू किती दिसतात अशें तरेचो परमनंट फंड आसचो आनी तातूंत भितर सगळे मायनिंगांतलो जो कितें पयसो आसा करून घालचो काय कितें
हो फंड आसूंकूच जाय आनी लोकांकूच मेळूंक जाय तो गव्हर्मेंटाक मेळूंक जायना. Government should be a trustee only, and I feel it should be given to the future generation, to all of us who are concerned, and some amount should be used for reforestation. Of all the destruction we have made, I don't think the government is going to spend any amount to repair what they have destroyed by giving these leases. So I think some percentage should be kept for reforestation, and that's good for human health in future.
Now the society is changing, and giving dividend to every voter is again going to be a disaster. We have seen when this doles which are given, few barring few, most of the people look at that 2,000 and 5,000 which is given as just money to spend and without any cause. And in areas, in rural areas where they were part of mining and when they were getting money, they also said, "Matityan paiso illa mare, matyan hodopacho." And people have been going for drugs, people have been going, drinking. If you do a research, you will realize that many of these mining belt men have drunk themselves to death, and there are widows and children. So that is why I feel that giving them direct money is not correct. But I want to throw a wild idea. The wild idea is this, because every one of us throw wild ideas and sometimes they come true. So maybe what I have realized today is our opposition at every time it is weak. And these opposition parties, they tell, see, we are joining the ruling party because आमच्या constituencyचं development जायना. We are not getting any money. We are not getting any development. So I feel, some part of entire money should go to the fund. Some money should be given to this opposition party wherever they have all the MLAs for development of those constituencies, so that they also feel empowered and they also get scope to develop their constituencies. Because right now what is happening is ruling government never pays attention to opposition people, their MLAs, and they have to go and beg. So if they have their own fund, I feel that they will be empowered. Of course, these MLAs also, we have to hold them accountable. We will have to think about it. But I would like to throw this idea, and I feel that full amount should be not 10%, full amount should be for the fund.
मायनिंग ही पब्लीक प्रॉपर्टी म्हणजे त्याच्या कडसून जे इन्कम येता ते पब्लिकाकूच दिवप इट इज अ गुड आयडिया, पूण ती प्रॅक्टिकबल आहा काय ना प्रॅक्टिसीन हाडूंक शकता काय ना हेच्या बद्दल हांव मातसो थोडोसो साशंक आहा. तें कारण कशें आहा, हांव एक कुमदाचो गांवकार आसा आनी कुमदाक म्हाका दर वर्सा दंड दिता. म्हाका दंड कितलो मेळटा? 1,000 भर मेळटा वर्साक. लास्ट 5 वर्सां हांवें तो कलेक्ट करूंक जाय. कित्याक म्हाका 1,000 रे केन्ना तरी घेवया असो म्हणून हांवें आजून तो करना. आतां हो फंड जो 100% फंड येतलो जेन्ना आपण सबंद गोंयकारांक वाडटले तेन्ना तेका शेअर कितलो येतलो हेचेर थोडो आजून अभ्यास करपाची गरज आसा अशें म्हाका दिसता. खरेंच ह्यो प्रॅक्टिसीन हाडूंक शकता.
विठ्ठल बाब कितें आसा जाणा, पार्श्वभूमी अशी की हो सगळो पयसो हातूंत भितरलो फक्त 10% अमावंट सध्या परमनंट फंडान घालता.
आसा.
बाकीचो 90% सध्या तांचे गव्हर्मेंटाक जाय तसो खर्च जो मेळटा खर्च करपाक. ताका लागून जाता अशें की तांकां जें कितें मनान येता तें करतात. आतां हांवें आयकलां एक नॉर्थ गोवा कॉन्स्टिट्युशनांतली नर्सिंग कॉलेज काडटात ह्या फंडांतल्यान. खूब पयसो येता. मायनिंगाच्यो सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी म्हणून मायनिंग कंपनीक येता. तोय पयसो मायनिंग जो मिनिस्टर आसा ताजे कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीन खर्च जाता लाखांनी कोटी. सो हाजो अर्थ कितें की हो पयसो सगळो जर सरकाराक जाल्यार हातान पावलो खर्च करपाक तो आयतो पयसो जालो आनी तो पयसो कोणें निर्माण केला? गोवा फावंडेशनाक लागून तो गोंयांत मेळटा. तो फावंडेशना खातीर गोवा फावंडेशनाक कोण उपकार तांचे कोण मारत नात. वयल्यान पॉलिटिशियनाच्या जर हातान पावलो हो पयसो तो ताजो कितें जातलो? करप्शन सुरू जातलें. अशे तरेच्यो लोकांक जाय त्यो योजना सुरू जातल्यो आनी इलेक्शनान भितर परत हो पयसो लोकांक विकते घेवपा खातीर आमदारांक विकते घेवपा खातीर वापरतले. सो तो भंय आहा. तो चड व्हडलो भंय. त्या नदरेन मायनिंग फंडान पयसो दवरप बरोबर न्ही काय कितें? हो म्हजो प्रश्न आसा.
मायनिंग फंडान तो सरकाराक दिवच्या परस मायनिंग फंडाक आसा ही बरी गजाल. ते तशें करपाकूच जाय. तो 100% मेळपाक जाय. पूण लोकां पर्यंत तो पावता ना कसो पावतलो हेजो थोडोसो विचार जावंक जाय.
I can only imagine what the CM and the government is going to respond to this. They are going to say that they are the elected representatives. They have every right to decide, okay, good job for getting the money, but we know what the loan that we have to repay, we know what roads and buildings and everything that Goa needs in the next 5 years. So we have the right to decide how the money is going to be spent. How would you respond to that?
The district mineral fund जो सुप्रीम कोर्टान सांगलेलो तो रिझर्व आसा ऑलरेडी. दॅट इज नॉट युटिलायज फॉर मायनिंग बेल्ट बाय स्टेट गव्हर्मेंट. हो एक मोठो प्रश्न आसा. तोच जर जेन्ना सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑर्डर दिवन 10% दवरून तो युटिलायज जावंक ना. आज आमची 80 एकर शेतां अजून पडींग आहा. थंय माती पडल्या आनी जशें मॅडमीन म्हटलें थंय आमच्या कडेन आज जे गोंयांत तुमकां आश्चर्य जातलें. तुमी सगळ्यांक हांव इनवायट करता या की हालींच डॉक्टर नंदकुमार कामत हे आमच्या गांवांत आयिल्ले सायंटिस्ट. तांच्यांनी एक ऑब्जर्वेशन सांगलें की पिसुल्ले आमच्या मायनिंग पिटान जे उदक आसा ते अख्ख्या गोंयांक पावता इतलें उदक आयज आमचे कडेन आसा. वी हॅव लॉट ऑफ प्लॅन्टी वॉटर, स्वीट वॉटर. पूण तेच उदक आज गोंयचो सरकार आमच्या शेतकरी आमी मागता, आमी थंय कल्टिवेट करूंक सोदता जाल्यार आमकां दिना. आनी ते कोण आसा? जस्ट 200 मिटराक उदक आसा. जर मायनिंग पीट and there is a पॅडी 80 एकर. ही आमची जाणटेल्यांची आज्या पणज्याची. आमी जर हे फुडें दवरूंक सोदता जशें बोरकर मॅडमीन म्हटलें की आमकां थंय आज इतलो डिजास्टर जाला, एक व्हडली व्हॅली थंय तयार जाल्ल्या. देर इज नीड ऑफ न्यू प्लांटेशन. आमची 2 सेक्रेट ग्रूव्ज आसा एन्शंट टायम जे आमचे जाणटे आजे पणजे थंय वचून झाडां पळय हाडून सगळे आमकां हें करताले. कित्याक वखद पयलीं म्हणटा ते गांवठी वखद झाडां पाल्याची. आयज 2 सेक्रेट ग्रूव्ज इन डायींग पोजिशन आसा. तांकां रिजनरेट करपाक, रिलायव करपाक आयज गव्हर्मेंटा कडेन कांयच एफर्ट्स ना. लास्ट 10 to 15 years आमी हे बॅटल करता. लास्ट 20 years म्हजे 2 टीन ट्रक आसा अजून. हांव एग्रीकल्चर करपाक आमी 12 एक युनिवर्सिटीन जेन्ना डिस्कशन जालें त्या नंतर आमी 12-13 आमची शेत सुरू करपाक तयार केलें.
What we're going is by the legal system. So under the constitution, what it says is that whatever was owned by the government, which was prior to the formation of India, that property now belongs to the state government, not to the center government. So if you go back in most parts of the country, it's like this, that basically the minerals under this earth, so the subsoil minerals, used to belong to the princely state or the British Raj, in our case, the Portuguese, and therefore that belongs to the state of Goa. So that's number one. So that's the title part of it. Just for reference, also, there are some places like in Meghalaya, there's some tribes which own some, some land with the minerals. There are even families. So it's not necessarily this case, but as far as Goa is concerned, this is the case. Second thing is under the public trust doctrine, which is comes from the Sidade Goa case. It's very clear that it says something like natural resources, including forests, rivers, beaches, are owned by the state as a trustee on behalf of the people and especially future generations. So the state owns the minerals under the Article 294, 295, something like that. And then under the public trust doctrine, the state doesn't own it in itself, it owns it as for us and future generations. So what you're saying is technically incorrect as far as Goa and your property is concerned. If I can just address Avinash's question also, what you're saying is basically like, will the politicians agree? And my only response to that is, if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you won't. So if you don't make an effort or you don't think we can win this, we won't win it. If you think we can win it, we can. And I've got a few people from the student agitation here who could probably tell us a little bit about how that could.
I don't think I believed, I don't know others, but they did prove themselves, no? Now, this entire fund thing is because part of a struggle which they went through. They went through the entire thing. So, yes, I really believe that if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. That's really it.
We're basically treating it as an endowment fund, So we've taken a 3% real income. So after inflation, only 3%. With an economy growing at 7%, it's very easy to get 3%. So 3% on the corpus of the fund divided by the population is what comes to 9,000. Only for the first 4 blocks. I mean, there's more money. So basically the question is, does the government spend it? Does the government invest it? Do we put it into the permanent fund? And then off that permanent fund, what do we do with the income? Does the government get it? Or do we keep it away from the government?
जे गोवा फाउंडेशनाचे पेटिशन आसले त्याच्या वांगडा आमची पेटिशनां टॅक जावन सगळी चल्ल्या. जवळजवळ 3-4 वर्सां आमी त्रास काडल्या. दिल्ली सुप्रीम कोर्टान सरकारान ना ते तरेन आमकां हॅरेसमेंट केला. ते क्लाउड आल्वारीस आमचे विटनेस सुख दुख्खाचे साथीदार म्हणटा तशे ते. आनी इतले त्रास काडून आमी आयज पळयता की मिनरल फंड जो आसा हो मिनरल फंड सुद्दां ह्या सरकारान सेफ दवरूंक ना. मुद्दम हांगा नमूद करता, कोविडाच्या टायमार 50 कोटी हेंच्यांनी काडले आनी परत मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट्स घेवपाक सगळो खर्च केला. आयज पर्यंत रुपया घालूंक ना. आमी प्रत्येक फावटी फॉलोअप करीतात.
व्हडले पिट्स आमच्या गांवांत जी लोकवस्ती आसा तेच्या पेक्षा व्हडले मायनीचे पिट्स आसात थंयसर. आनी जेन्ना आतां मायनीचो हो प्रश्न उबो केलो, नवीन ऑप्शन्स करपाचो जेन्ना प्रश्न उबो जालो, तेन्ना आमी मेमोरेंडम सगळ्या डिपार्टमेंटाक घातली की ते करूं नाकात म्हणून. करतल्यात जाल्यार पयलींचे जे मायनीचे पिट्स जे घालून थेयल्लेले आसात ते पयलीं कायद्या प्रमाणे क्लोजर करात म्हणून. जे सिस्टमे प्रमाणे मायनींग लॉन जे दिल्लेले आसा त्या प्रमाणे क्लोजर करून तेजे रिफॉरेस्टेशन करून कंप्लीट करा म्हणून. ते करपाक त्याच्या नंतर आमी गव्हर्मेंट्स तेजेर कांय लक्ष दिना. आमी अंडर RTI खुबश्यो गोश्टी मागल्यो. आमी रिकमेंडेशन्स केली तांकां, वचोन डेलिगेशन्स घातली. तेन्ना तांकां आमकां लक्षान आयलें की येदी व्हडली जी तळी मारून दिली ना ती तळी अशे तरेन आसा की ती जर तर फुटात न्ही जाल्यार पूर्ण आमचो शिरगांव गांव काबार जातलो. तर तेंच्यांनी डिपार्टमेंटान आमकां सरळ सांगलें की तें आमी कांय करपाचें ना, तांकां फक्त फेन्सिंग करून पॅक करून थेयतले, भितन कोण पडपाक जायना म्हणून. ह्या तरेचे गव्हर्मेंटाचो एटिट्यूड्स आसात. म्हणजे ते कायद्यान ज्यो मायनी इतल्या वर्साच्यो ज्यो 1949 चालू आशिल्ल्यो त्यो मायनी परत बंद करपाक जाय आशिल्ल्यो आनी दुसरे कडेन मायनींग जी सुरू करपाक जाल्ल्यो त्यो न करता थंयसर म्हणजे आतां पळय आनी पिसोरल्याची जी खबर सांगल्या इनफ ऑफ वॉटर आसा म्हणून. आमच्या मायनींग तेकोन आमच्या गांवांत सकयल शेती जी आसा ती भरपूर आसा, पूण शेती करपाक सुद्दां एक सिस्टम आसा. एका वर्सान कमीत कमी 1 ते 2 म्हयने ती शेती करतलो न्ही बरी जाल्यार सुकपाक जाय ती. सरात आनी वांयगण पीक जाल्या उपरांत परत सुकपाक जाय. आयज पोझिशन अशी जाल्ली आसा, मायनी बंद जाल्या कारणान त्या पिठांतले डायरेक्ट उदीक जें आसा ते शेतान भरोन उरलेलें आसा आनी तेका लागून आमकां शेती करपाक सुद्दां मेळना. प्रॉब्लेम हो जाल्लो आहा की शेती सुकाना, कंटिन्यू उदक म्हणजे त्या शेतीच्या आतां तळें जाल्लें आसा. सो हे प्रॉब्लेम जे आसात हे क्रिएट जाल्यात, हे सफर जातात आमी हांगासर. आणि तेका लागून म्हाका दिसता हो मायनिंग क्लोजराचो प्रश्न जो तुमी म्हटलेलो आसा तो गव्हर्मेंट करपाक तयार ना. ताजेर तो प्रेशर आमी घालपाचो सगळे प्रयत्न करतात आमच्या लेवलाचेर. गोवा फावंडेशन क्लाउड बाब सुद्दां आमकां भरपूर हेल्प करता. पूण ह्या लेवलाचेर सामका बाकीच्यां कडेन आमी वयतात. विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द मायनिंग फंड्स, जशें हेंच्यांनी सांगलेलें तशें की पूर्ण गोंया खातीर म्हूण किंवा स्टेटीचो वापर जावप हो तितकोच गरजेचो आसा. परंतु त्याचो पयलो जो DMF फंड जो आसा तो DMF फंड आत्तां सुदीप बाबान सांगल्या प्रमाणे युटिलायझेशन जाल्लेले ना ताचे. आणि युटिलायझेशन तो पेंडिंग पडल्या कारणान ते पयशे कोविडाक काडलेले आसा गव्हर्मेंटान. गव्हर्मेंट चान्स मारपाक सोदता, हें सगळ्यांक खबर आसा. आणि अजून ताका मायनिंग बेल्टान DMF फंडा बद्दल कांयच खबर ना, जो कित्याक लागून युटिलायझेशन करपाक जाय. म्हणटकूच आता परत प्रश्न हो निर्माण जातलो की हो नवो फंड येयलो काय ना, हे मागीर परत जाय थंयसर यूज करतले. सो हो युटिलायझेशन जी सिस्टम जी आसात न्ही ती खंय तरी जाग्यार बसपाक जाय अशें खंय तरी दिसता.
Indian Bureau of Mines has got a rule that so long as the ore is not exhausted, you cannot close the pit. So because of that, the mine owners use that as an excuse and say that there is still some ore, so we will not close the pit. So the pits are left as they are collecting water, and the result is the status quo. Nobody is willing to close. So the mining closure plan will be done after 200 years, not by reminer. And today's new situation has come up where the new mine successful auctioneers are saying, why you are blaming us to repair the damage done by the earlier mine owner? We are not responsible for it. We have got the mine now, we will do our mining, but don't ask us to repair the damage that he has done. That is something that he has to do himself. We are not responsible. And that fellow is saying that I am not willing to do any repairs because you have stopped me mining here. So I have no longer any responsibility to do any repairs to anything because you have driven me from here.
Actually, just now we are finishing the arguments in court on where government was saying that we do not need to give a fresh environment clearance. We are going to simply extend the existing one. And that is the one where one of the mining companies came to say, no, the Goa Foundation matter says a fresh environment clearance. And I was reading from the Goa Foundation judgment, the second judgment, where the court says specifically that the environment clearances were issued just automatically without any understanding of what the damage had already caused. And therefore, when a fresh environment clearance is given, we hope that there will be a study done before that in order to assess what is the exact carrying capacity of that area. What the Shirgaon people are talking about, the flooding and so on, what is the carrying capacity of the ore that we can allow to be extracted, not simply renew the environment clearance without
But
a
the
single
carrying
thought.
capacity is not 20%.
No, that is the carrying capacity that you can remove. That's a ceiling, that's a cap. But what exactly can you allow a particular environment clearance to remove, considering the assets, considering the damage that is already done, considering the rehabilitation must be done, and why the new company has got to see that they will take that on along with the mining lease if they are accepting. So you can't simply say, I will accept the new lease, I'm the highest bidder, but along with it come these responsibilities. I was reading paragraphs from Supreme Court Judgment 2 to show the present High Court judge where the judges I was reading it. This is what the Supreme Court says has to be done before fresh environment clearance can be given. And that is why you cannot simply extend the environment clearance into the new thing. What government is saying is that the environment clearance has a life of 30 years. So if it has not been utilized, we will allow the new person to utilize the balance. There is no question because Supreme Court said we want a break in Goa. It is different from the rest of India. We have studied the Goa case and there has to be mining on a clean slate. Wipe out. But that doesn't mean you wipe out the past. You don't say that all the damage that is done, forget about it, now you start anew. You take that into consideration. This is the terms of the Supreme Court's second order.
I also do not agree on the dividend factor, because that makes again what we are seeing today. People who are dependent on poll, people who are beggars running around with begging bowls. So somebody pays 2,000 rupees, I will vote for that guy. My submission is, it goes back to, if this fund is for our future generations, then why can't we use these funds to skill them, create programs which skills them in different aspects of either business, either skills which they can employ in their day-to-day life, or education. So, in my mind, giving out a dole, giving out this fund for free is a very very bad idea, because we are seeing what has happened today. In any politicians gives $1,000, I vote for it.
जो पळय कितें सजेशन कन्सेप्ट पळय जो कितें आसा की परमनंट फंडान हो सगळो पयसो घालचो आनी ताजो नंतर आमी विचार करूं येता तो पयसो कसो खर्च करचो, अशे तरेचे सजेशन आयल्यात. म्हाका दिसता परत एकदां तुमचे कडेन आमी येतात, तुमी थोडे भितर 2-2 मिनटां भितर तुमच्या मनान जे पळय कितें आतां तुमकां कितें सुचलां ताजे बद्दल तुमी तुमची मतां व्यक्त करात.
If you're putting all the money into a permanent fund, it would be a good idea. But since the government is used to getting 300 or 400 crores, they should get their 400 crores and the rest should go into the permanent. No, I'm not supporting the government. I'm just saying that they're already on deficit. Yes. There's no doubt about that. And they will continue to misuse it. But taking it away doesn't mean that the misuse will become less. So this is my thing that, so they have some money. Actually, we are talking about 1,200 crores should be what is available. Whether it's a dividend or to use or whatever, it's whether you use it for skilling as you suggested. I think that's the number we are talking about. And the rest should be, so that will be always getting 1,200 crores or more. But if you keep it within 5,000, it will go in this budget itself.
I think there should be only one fund, permanent fund. All the money should go there, and a part of it may be used for disaster management and with reference to mining, whatever disaster has been done for that.
I also agree with Savita what she's saying. I'll only use a different term and say let's heal the earth. We require to spend that money to heal the earth, and at the same time we should also have form a group where we can keep an eye. You can call it watchdog, or you can say that, so that we can plan how this fund can be utilized. I'm sure many ideas will come, and after brainstorming, we can come at a best idea.
Mining is public property. जो फंड त्याच्यान इन्कम येता ते परमनंट फंड क्रिएट करप, इट इज अ गुड आयडिया. त्याचो उपयोग लोकां पर्यंत वचपाची, ताका लोकांक फायदो जावपाची आमची कॅर घेवची पडटली. नाल्यार कितें ना सरकार कितें म्हणजे आयच्या सरकाराचेर आमचो म्हजो विश्वास ना.
Can a similar framework be applied to any other resources in the state, just like you have done with minerals? That's what I want to know.
I guess the framework applies to all natural resources and actually to all inheritances, and even further to all common property. Well, just heard beach shacks, it could be access to the beach. I mean, there's no reason why we can't think of a fee to access the beach, which then, because it's a renewable amount, it gets pooled together, paid out as a dividend. There are many natural resources which are being used mostly for free, not even priced, and being overused in many cases. And the same principle, it belongs to everybody. If it's renewable, it's like if it's renewable like a crop, then you can take that money and distribute it to everybody. If it's non-renewable, you have to create something alternative for future generations. And then if that is successful, and it's basically, I mean, you can see that with the Comunidad and the zone. It's basically the same idea, but there are any number of resources.
म्हाका दिसता की ह्या गजालीचेर चड डिटेला भितर विचार जावपाची गरज डेफिनेटली आसा. सो त्या दृश्टींतल्यान नंबर वन वॉट वी रिक्वायर इज पब्लीक प्रेशर. जशें रिजनल प्लॅनार हाडिल्लें तशे तरेचे ज्याचे खातीर आमकां काम करचें पडटलें. कोण तरी करतलो आनी आमी हें करतले ह्या गजालीक अर्थ ना. नंबर 2, जसो रिजनल प्लॅन 10 वर्सां खातीर जालो, ऑक्शन इज फॉर 50 years. So there should be a plan prepared by the experts for 50 years.
चर्चा सामकी बरी जाल्या. लोकांनी पोटतिडकीन आपली मतं मांडल्यात. तुमकां सगळ्यांक हांव धन्यवाद दिता. एक लक्षात घेयात, गोंय ही टायनी स्टेट, एक सामकें आमचें धाकटुलें गोंय. ह्या गोंयाक कशें फुडार आसचो, फुडल्या 50 वर्सांनी हें गोंय कशें आसचें हाचो एक प्लॅन थारोवपाचो अधिकार आमकां सगळ्यांक आसा, फकत सरकाराक न्ही. कारण तूं पळयलां सद्या गोंयांतले विरोधी पक्ष म्हणून ना जाल्यात. फक्त उरला एक सरकार आनी सगळे आमदार सरकाराक लागू जाल्यात. अशे परिस्थितीत एक नागरीक म्हणून आमकां कांय जबाबदारी येतात आनी आमी त्यो सगळ्योच गोवा फावंडेशना कडेन सोंपयतलो काय कितें. कारण आमी म्हणटात न्ही, मायनींग कॉर्पोरेशन केलें, क्लावडाक घालात, आनी मायनिंगा संदर्भात विचार करपाक परत क्लावडाक घालात. फुडलो फ्युचर कसो आसतलो तो क्लावड ठरयतलो. हांव मागता अशें की एक एकमुखी आवाज जावपाक जाय. ह्या संदर्भातले जे पळय मायनींग फंड किंवा एकूण जी पळय कितें रचना मायनिंगा संदर्भात जातली, थंय एक लोकांची प्रतिनिधी म्हणून कोण तरी आसपाक जाय. म्हजे मुखार आत तर येता क्लावड आल्वारीसूच. तो अशे तरेचो एक पब्लीक प्रेशर आमचो तयार जावचो पडटलो. पब्लीक प्रेशर फुडलें गोंय कशें घडोवप ह्या संदर्भात, आनी त्या संदर्भात फुडलें गोंय जेन्ना म्हणटा दोनच कन्सेप्ट आमच्या मुखार येता, एक मायनींग आनी टुरिजम. पण मायनींग हो चड सिरियस आज ऐतिहासीक अशी परिस्थिती आसा हांव मानता. ऐतिहासीक अशी मतां हांगा व्यक्त जाल्या तशें हांव मानता. ह्या ऐतिहासीक मताक घटमूट करपा खातीर आमी सगळ्यांनी परत एकमुखार आवाज उठोवन अशे तरेचो एक प्रेशर गोंयांत निर्माण करचो पडटलो. आनी अशे तरेचो मायनींग फंड, परमनंट फंड तयार जावचो, हाचे खातीर कन्सेप्ट तयार करून ताचे खातीर न्यायालयान लढो दिलो. हाचे खातीर क्लावड आल्वारीस आनी तांची संघटना नॉर्मा आनी एकूण तेंची गोवा फावंडेशन हांकां गोंयच्या लोकांच्या वतीन म्हाका दिसता आमी धन्यवाद दिवपाची गरज आसा. धन्यवाद.